Welcome to our Kwame Istanbul webinar hangout. I'm Merv Sullen, the content producer for the show, and I'm delighted to have you join us for what we hope will be an insightful discussion on some of the key topics that we'll be focusing on in the event this November. Don't forget, Kwame Istanbul is only a couple of weeks away, so please make sure you register as soon as possible to avoid the 30 lira entry fee on site. You will see a link appearing now and at the end of our hangout. So get on the website and get registering. So let's get started. Today I'm delighted to be joined by a fantastic selection of speakers working in and around the electrical manufacturing industries, all providing food for thought on some of the key themes of the program that we'll be discussing in more detail at the event. Today, we will be discussing some of the technical and market challenges facing the electric motor and transformer industries. One of the main areas of discussion will be the demands of cost versus efficiency and exploring how this is affecting the Turkish and Middle Eastern region, as well as global markets. So, to introduce our speakers, firstly, we have Wilma Zhao, Senior Market Analyst at IHS Technology. Hi, Wilma.
Hi, everyone. This is Wilmer.
We also have Renaud Groman, Development Engineer at Punch Powertrain, joining us. Hi, Renaud.
Hello, I'm MENAT.
And last but not least, we have Kerem Köseoğlu, Electrical Design Team Leader for Power Transformers at Best Transformer. Hi, Kerem.
Hello. Hi to everyone.
Thank you all for joining me today. It would be great if you could each give us a short introduction to what you do and your background in the industry. Wilma?
Yes, hello, everyone. My name is Wilmer, the market analyst from Industrial Automation Group at IHS Technology. I have joined IHS over 7 years. I do a market research and the industry analyst for the motor and motor control industry, including the induction motor, middle voltage motor, servo drives, motor drive motion control, direct drive motors, and stable motors. I also cover the hot topics such as smart manufacturing, industry robotics, and service robotics. Yes.
Thanks, Wilma. Kerem, can you share with us a bit more about your background and role at Best Transformers?
Of course. This is Kerem Köseoğlu. I'm working for Best Transformer since 2011, and I'm the design team leader for the company. And our team is mostly concentrated on preparing tenders as per customer requirements with best price and quality. We prepare a cost calculation for our sales team, and we prepare technical data sheets and drawings for our customers, also some other curves if they require. Also, we are designing the ordered projects, signed projects, and we are creating confirmation documents. We are participating in kickoff meetings and design meetings, etc. Also, we are ordering the transformer parts, transformer accessories for the transformer, and we are checking the manufacturing drawings and so on.
Thank you, Kerem. And finally, Renaud, can you please briefly explain to us what you do and your background in the industry?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my name is Renaud Groman. I'm working as a mechanical engineer at Punch Powertrain in Belgium. Punch Powertrain is an automotive company, mainly producing automatic transmissions, CVT transmissions to be more specific, so continuously variable transmissions. However, new developments at our company are focused on a cleaner mobility, and it is in this frame that I work on electric motors for electric and hybrid powertrains for passenger cars. And my focus is mainly on the mechanical design and manufacturing of these products.
Thanks for that, Renaud. As I'm sure you'll all agree, we have an exciting and diverse panel joining us today. So let's kick off with an overview of the key discussion points that we have come to light following our in-depth research and early discussions with Kwame audiences. with a focus on the development of the Middle East, North African and Turkey regions, which I'll be referring to as MENAT, and wider electrical manufacturing industries for generators, motors and transformers. The region has exhibited a steady growth in working to balance the product efficiency demanded by clients and regulation, whilst trying to keep manufacturing costs low, essentially staying one step ahead in the market. For example, this has given birth to more vocal discussions on new technologies arising to tackle manufacturing, testing and product longevity, as well as design and regulatory issues across the global marketplace. Wilma, as a senior analyst in the global electric motors, what do you forecast as the key growth areas in the market, both globally and in the MENAT region?
Okay, so the world market for motors, drives, and motion control are diversified in this year and last year due to mixed factors such as emerging countries slowing down and overcapacity in some industry and production shift and high efficiency motor regulations and many M&A activities and new material and technology innovations. So the performance of the market for motors, especially for the middle voltage motors, are linked closely to the performance of its end user industry, as well as the global economic conditions. The world economy continued to improve for a global recession that has been compounded by many problems, such as the still recovering Euro economy and a remarkable slowdown of Chinese economy and steep construction in the oil and gas industry, and also various geopolitics issues. So last year, the world market for middle voltage motors is estimated to be around 6 billion US dollars, with nearly 60,000 units shipped around the world. And for this year, I just predict that the global middle voltage motor market will fall slightly by 2% to 5.6 billion US dollars. For the low voltage motor market, it is estimated to be around 40 billion US dollar last year, and about 45 million units shipped around the world last year. So this year, we predict that the world market will slow to less than 1% growth in terms of revenue. So that's for the global market. And for the regional market, such as the Middle East and Africa, because of the falling oil price and the regional political instability and war with the Islamic State, attacking the economic outlook. For example, the Egypt economy is recovering, but political and security risk also constraining the growth. And the falling commodity export revenue are and will continue restraining the growth of Africa in this year and the following years. And on the other hand, the poor infrastructure and political instability also obstacles the Africa economic development. So overall speaking, we estimate the Middle East, Turkey countries, the Middle East countries, middle voltage motor and low voltage motor market will grow around 3 to 4% every year up to 2019. The growth rate is a little bit faster than the global motor market. Okay.
That's really interesting. Thank you, Wilma, for those insights. Kenan, working as a leading producer of power transformers in Turkey and a major supplier to the region, where would you place Turkish manufacturing in comparison to the regions such as Europe, China, and the US? Where would you place Turkey manufacturing health economically in comparison to these competing big regions?
Yeah, for transformer markets, we hear that some globally large transformer manufacturing factories are shutting down worldwide. On the other hand, the manufacturing in Turkey is becoming more and more important because there are lots of transformer manufacturing companies, distribution transformer to large power transformers, and all these companies are currently trying to increase their capacity, their technology, to catch this trend to manufacture more and larger transformers. Best Transformers, my company, has a huge advantage among the competitors because we built our big factory in 2009, and it's the newest and one of the largest transformer manufacturing factory in the Turkey. So we are getting advantage of this. I think all these Turkish manufacturers will get advantage from this trend, this market, because transformer demand is very largely increasing fastly. Also, Turkey's location worldwide is a huge advantage among other competitors because we are in the middle of the world as Turkey. So we are close to everywhere. So it's easier to purchase transformer accessories from all around the world. Also, it's easier to sell the transformer, to deliver the transformer to site from somewhere near. Also, it's easier to provide service to these transformers you sold before. There is a disadvantage for Turkey as a transformer manufacturer because there are not much local transformer accessory manufacturers around in Turkey. For example, we don't have any condenser bushing manufacturer, so we have to import it from Europe, and it takes around 20 weeks. It's a very long time for a transformer manufacturing. So, as a sum up, I think that Turkey will be leading country in transformer manufacturing, but transformer companies must be supported by local manufacturers of transformer accessories.
Thank you, Kenan. That's really interesting. Again, a question to you. Renewables has come up frequently in our research as a key area offering growth opportunity for electrical manufacturers in the Turkish region. What kind of opportunity so far has this offered transformer manufacturers like yourself?
Well, renewable energy is greatly supported by Turkish governments, similar to all countries around the world, of course. And also, Turkey has a very large advantage because of the geopolitical position of the Turkey in the world. So we are expecting that renewable energy production will increase, and that means that you need a transformer to connect your energy to the grid. So being a factory close to the place where this energy is manufacturing is an advantage, also service-wise. Also, for example, you want to buy something, always you look for your your neighborhood. You try to find it in your neighborhood first. So Turkish manufacturers will be in the neighborhood when Turkey starts to manufacture more and more energy. We know that some energy projects are ongoing for gas transfer, for energy transfer, etc. through the Turkey. So this shows the importance of the Turkey around the other countries, Middle East countries. And additionally, that I know Turkish government has plans to support manufacturing wind turbines and wind turbine parts, also solar panels in future. So this will be also an advantage for Turkish manufacturers.
Definitely. Thank you, Kenan. Now, Renaud, as someone coming into the conversation from an engineering background, working on technical innovation, how healthy do you see the future of the electrical motor market in Europe?
Well, as my background is in the automotive, I can say that the full-scale commercialization of electric and hybrid vehicles will have a major impact on the electrical market. It is an inevitable trend in passenger vehicle powertrains to go to electrification, whether it's aimed at improving fuel efficiency and reducing emissions by hybrid systems, or aimed at eliminating emissions and reducing oil dependency by full electric vehicles. And I think this trend will definitely boost the demand for electric traction motors in the automotive industry. Also, the recent events that we saw in the media with the cheating software of internal combustion engines,
Yeah.
with the fake emission values, these things will only speed up this evolution in Europe, according to me.
Definitely, that's really interesting. And focusing on your work, I believe you're in the process of developing new areas of technical innovation in electric motors, specifically focusing on alternative materials such as reducing rare earths. How do you see these new developments moving in the electrical motor market forward? Is there anyone benefiting from this?
Well, for example, my company, Punch Powertrain, we are consortium leader of a European FP7 research project called ARMIVA, that is specifically aimed at reducing dependency on rare earth materials.
Mm-hmm.
And within this project, we designed a switch reluctance motor with similar performance as permanent magnet motors, but without the use of these permanent magnets. Not only does this reduce the cost of the motor, but also, indeed, it does not require an unfriendly mining techniques that are related to these rare earths. Um, then, considering the scarcity of the rare earths, which are called like that for a reason, and the fact that around 50% of these rare earths are mined in China, these are clear indicators that these prices of these resources are volatile and very likely will go up steeply in the future, as we already saw around 2011. And eventually, these high prices will drive the electrical motor industry towards maybe less common motor types. And anyway, this will stimulate design and manufacturing innovations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that companies who are anticipating this evolution, they will definitely benefit from this.
Definitely. Thanks for that, Renaud. So let's continue on with the big topic on everyone's mind at the moment, efficiency. Wilma, looking at the technical innovations out there, looking at increasing efficiency and reducing our dependency on materials such as rare earths, as Renaud mentioned, what impact do you see increased regulation having on motor manufacturers worldwide?
Well, for the regulation, so as the importance of the motors in the power saving program, the governments around the world have released the motor efficiency transforming transaction program, which is a legislation aimed to improve the efficiency level of the total motor systems for many years. For the long term, it is expected that legislation will also increase demand for the motor drive as well as motors, and as a company is seeking to improve the energy efficiency. So, and they really have the governments around the world have investment a lot of money and effort to implement the regulation for decades for some regions, such as US, such as Europe and China. But motors outlawed still are significant part of this market. Uh, there are still a lot of loopholes around the world. For example, in US, the leading supplier still sell IU1 motors, but a small motor regulation that come out in the US this March uh, is pushing IE3 sales for small motors. Uh, I think next year in 2016, the DOE in the US is going to implement more stricter enforcement to the existing legislations.
Mm-hmm.
So the loopholes that allow IU1 motor uh, still selling in US will start to go away. So I expect the IE3 motors sales will grow next year at a more faster rate than last year. Yeah.
Do you think that legislation would stream into Middle East and Europe as well, like the US is doing?
I think so. I think
Mhm.
it will happen around the world.
Yeah. Would you
Next,
say we are seeing innovation coming through with the electric motor industry responding to the challenge of cost versus quality through such measures?
uh, yes, I think the technology innovation come from three aspects. One is from the motor itself. We have many ways to increase the motor efficiency and quality. For example, using more expensive material, such as rare earth, which will definitely increase the cost. But we
Hmm.
also have for other alternative solutions. For example, changing the structure of the motors and using Faraday instead of rare earth, which is more cheap than rare earth.
Hmm.
So that's for the motor itself. And then second, the innovation also happen in the motor system. Uh, uh, it will also come from the motor system, such as the whole system like motor drive, motor, and couplings, and gearbox, uh, and the sensors and the encoder, and also some motor-driven products like compressor, fans, and pumps.
Hmm.
This improvement of drives and the whole system and the automation parts will reduce the total cost of the motor system and also reduce the cost in the whole lifetime. And it will also increase the product quality and will increase the service quality for the customers. Uh, that's for the motor system. I think the third one is for the software side. As you know, software has emerged as an important trend in the motor industry uh, as a way for suppliers to differentiate themselves by adding value to the customer. The proportion of the software in the cost of the motor system is increasing as it becomes more and more important than ever. Uh,
Hmm.
the software integration automation technology with other elements of the manufacturer, it will not only improve the functionality of the control system, but also will move the manufacturing process from the being driven by electronics to being driven by the software and
Yeah.
finally driven by the big data. Yes.
Perfect. Interesting. Touching up on a lot of topics that we're going to mention later as well. Thank you, Wilma. Kenam, from the research we've been doing in the run-up to Quaimi Istanbul, we have an understanding that Turkey is taking on board some of the much tighter efficiency regulations happening globally. What changes do you see taking place to keep up with regulations for the transformer sector?
Well, there is a new European Union regulations on transformers. It
Hmm.
come up in 2015 June or July, I think. I'm not sure, but it's mostly limiting the dry type and oil type distribution transformers.
Hmm.
Power transformers will be affected less from these regulations because with increasing power ratings, the efficiency goes much higher in the power transformers. For example, a standard efficiency in a power transformer is around 99.8%, which fully satisfies the new European Union regulations. But they are planning to make these regulations more strict in 2021. It's the plan
Hmm.
for the European Union, so we will see. And I think the goal is this regulation is increasing the lifetime and quality of the transformer.
Yeah.
Because in order to satisfy these requirements, you need to use more material in the transformer. With larger transformers, with better quality steel, will be used. Well, this will of course increase the price of the transformer, but this new regulations will increase the quality, so lifetime will be longer, so we could achieve more maybe with it.
So
And
ultimately,
sorry, Turkish governments you asked about the regulations in the Turkish government is
hmm.
Turkish municipal is different than the new Europe Union regulations because
Hmm.
Turkish regulations were way older than this new European Union regulations, of course. Also, the Turkish government directly determines the losses of the transformer. They say that load loss should be this, no load loss should be this, like that. You know, vice versa, not just efficiency. They directly measure it. Also, any new design, any new transformer must be short-circuit tested by an independent test laboratory if you want to supply the Turkish grid. So if you change your design, you again must short-circuit the transformer. So it's very strict in Turkey, these regulations about connecting the grid, and very limited.
So the regulation in a way will be working hand in hand as well with the Turkish regulation to up the standard of some of these transformers which were perhaps not as efficient.
Yes.
In that sense. Wonderful. Thank you, Kenan. We've now talked about efficiency demanding innovation. Renaud, throwing the ball back in your court, where do you see the biggest technical leaps forward in terms of electric motor design over the next 5 to 10 years? Which sectors, new or old, do you think are influencing these changes? Perhaps automotive, industrial, aerospace, power electronics? If we could hear your thoughts.
Well, we see trends in electric motor designs towards higher and higher operating speeds. For instance, our own motor development within our MEVA project will have speeds up to 20,000 RPMs to achieve an optimal powertrain efficiency. And consequently, these electric traction systems, they will need to be optimized to cope with higher AC losses caused by skin and the proximity effects related to these high operating speeds. And this trend will also demand innovation in mass production of coils with an optimal compromise between high fill factor and lower AC losses. And furthermore, higher voltage systems will have higher efficiencies. It's no coincidence that Porsche announced their Mission E concept car with a powertrain working at 800 volts. It is also a trend, and we're also working into that direction. And this will need widespread availability of and cost-effective availability of power switching components to deal with this higher voltage. So the power electronics industry will in this field.
Do we see direct applications into the automotive industry, which is definitely on trend at the moment as well? Okay, so continuing with the streak of future visions, Wilma, which new ways of manufacturing, especially smart manufacturing, can you currently see emerging?
Okay, so I think the ICT technology penetration in the automation and the motor industry is the biggest challenge, but also the biggest opportunity in this year and maybe in the following decades. As you know, Germany and the US are leading the way to a new industry age of Industry 4.0, smart manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, the deployment of cyber physical system in manufacture is driving the new ICT technology and the smart product penetration in industry, the traditional industry. The end is intelligence factory and the process with the flexibility and more efficiency. So Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing are widely discussed in the industry today, but this trend will continue not only 1 year, but will evolve over the next decades. Smart factory could help improve the lifetime as products will be optimized to fit into the applications and increase the focus on the service. In motors and motor control system, in motor and motor control industry, the condition monitoring could extend the total lifetime throughout the increase of using heat and vibration sensors on the motors. Yeah.
Thank you. It's really interesting. I guess innovation isn't just about new technology, though, but also about utilizing technology in new ways, including how the electrical sector could produce things. Wilma, do you see an impact in the use of methods such as 3D printing in wider electrical manufacturing? And any, if you could give any examples of this technology benefiting?
Okay. So, with the ongoing advance of new technology and material, the
Hmm.
3D continue to expand its capabilities and the impact on the traditional manufacturing. As you know, 3D printing is gradually evolving from being considered a niche technology reserved for prototyping into a mainstream manufacturing technology. The 3D printing encourage design innovation by creation of new structure and shapes, and allow for product uh, complexity without additional product cost. It's
Hmm.
great to be up to the time to market by making the idea to prototype. Uh, the prototype cycle is much more shorter than before. It also reduces the development cost and waste by using smaller quantities of material and increase product person, personalizations for customers without adding additional cost. I just predict that over the next 5 years, the fastest growth will come from the sales of industry-grade 3D printing system and the production of tools, modules, and prototype and final end-user parts. Both of these sectors are projected to witness uh, annual revenue growth around maybe over 40% growth rate.
3D printing for manufacturing is definitely very exciting. Have you seen examples of it being adopted in motor manufacturing?
Yeah, I have an example about Renishaw. It's a UK-based engineering company.
Hmm.
It just announced that it has obtained a compliance certification from TUV Studio for its laser melting machines. The certification is an essential requirement for meeting electrical safety standards in North American market. It proves that the equipment can be implemented in a manufacturing environment without the complications, cost, and uncertainty of any additional testing or field inspection. So for core manufacturing industry like automotive, aerospace, and electronics, this certification confirms that the laser melting machine is fully tested and fully functional machine that can be used uh, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in
Hmm.
industry environment. And the safety and quality of the equipment are assured. So, which eliminates the extra cost and time spent meeting local regulations for the buyers. So the development clearly suggests that the 3D printing technology nowadays is nearing the final stage of acceptance of traditional manufacturer enterprise. Yeah.
Thank you, Wilma. New manufacturing practices appear to be key for many involved in the industries. The area of coil winding, electric motors, generators, and transformers has, however, been generally very traditional and slow to change compared to other areas of industry. Kerem, how would you see new manufacturing processes changing or being implemented to tackle key challenges, such as cost negation via increased automation? How is this helping Turkish manufacturers, for example, and those in the rest of the region respond to the recent growth in demand from sectors needing transformers, such as tourism infrastructure and smart grids?
Well, we are not using 3D printers yet, in transformer business, but maybe future. And automation in manufacturing of transformer is really the fastest developing technology in the transformer business, because transformer theory itself is very old theory and still the best, with this high efficiency. And Best, like for example, my company Best has the very new machines in our factory. Like our cutting machines can cut cores up to 1,020 millimeter wide, which is I think biggest in the Turkey. Also, we have some automated winning machines which could be programmable, so worker know where to bend the copper, where to add extra insulation, and so on. So these developments in manufacturing process are helping our customers to get their transformers in shorter terms. Manufacturing times are reducing with better automation. So with faster manufacturing, we can reduce labor costs. So this affects our price and the delivery times. So this is a very effective advantage among the competitors. Most of the time, our limit to the delivery is our sub-manufacturers' delivery times, because I told you about this 20 weeks, 12 weeks delivery time for a bushing. It takes longer to get a bushing than the deliver transformer. That's the main problem.
So do you see a demand from specific sectors across Turkey that will impact the growth of transformers in general across Turkey? Like in our research, smart grid development across the Middle East came up a lot, as well as tourism infrastructure. Do you see this increasing the growth in transformers being supplied to the surrounding regions?
Yes, it's definitely will increase the transformer manufacturing, because they always look for the first local manufacturers, and being in Turkey, near to Middle East, near to these MENAT countries, will be a good advantage for the manufacturers.
Thank you. Kerem, what challenges would you say face the introduction of smarter manufacturing that was perhaps mentioned a little bit earlier? Even though the transformers haven't started using it, do you see the increased use of big data, machine-to-machine communication via increased use of sensors, for example, actually happening on the factory floor?
Yeah, definitely. Because with optimized manufacturing and the inspection and experience, good quality is achievable. We learned that, and I believe that similar to Tesla Motors, which is a 100% machine-to-machine manufacturing company, manufacturing with machines will be implemented to transformer business too very soon. I think it will start with the distribution transformers, small transformers, but it will enlarge to the whole area. Also, that in these MENAT countries, that we see a special type of requirement, a special type of transformer requirement is increased last years. I think one reason for this is with the special type of transformers, you can control this power flow, or you can melt the steel, or you can regulate the line voltage, etc. Like that, all kind of solutions. And that shows two things, in my opinion. The first thing is there is a soft passage to the smart grid systems. So they want to control the circuit more, power flow more. And I think the government and the distribution companies are preparing to this. And secondly, industrial plants are growing in Turkey more and more, and also MENAT countries. With increasing demand in industrial transformer, I think Turkish transformer manufacturers will benefit more. Also, for example, Best manufactured an arc furnace transformer for a Turkish steel melting company, which is the largest in the world, with 1,030 kiloamps of secondary current. It's the record. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kerem. Wilma, would you say there is an appetite after the global recession for more investment in areas such as renewable energy and electric vehicles, which are some of our key trends? How would you say R&D, for example, is matching manufacture and design on a whole to tap into electrical manufacturing in territories such as the Middle East and Asia, as we have touched on?
Okay. So I agree with you. More and more investment in area, as you mentioned, such as renewable energy and electric vehicle. And the developed countries see it a new opportunity for them to maintain their competitive advantages. And the emerging countries see it as a breakthrough to overtake the development countries. So for the manufacturing, there are two trends influence the world supply chain. One is the globalization, which causes the global manufacturing transferring, such as manufacturing transfer from the American to Japan and Korea, and from the Japan, Korean to China. So another trend is the regionalizations, such as the manufacturing transfer from US to Mexico, and from the Western Europe, such as Germany to Eastern Europe, and also from China to Southeast Asia. So that's regionalizations, not the
Yeah.
globalizations. So China has a huge advantage to attract foreign investment before, but now with the increased labor cost, material cost, energy cost, China gradually lost some of its advantages over other regions, such as Eastern Europe, Middle East, Southeast Asia, Turkey. Yeah. Even the Chinese manufacturing supplier still growing in China, but I think they will not replace the traditional supply chain between the Europe and the Middle East. Um, with the increase of regionalizations and decrease of the globalizations, the local team, local R&D people, and local design will become more and more popular. The quality and the quantity of the local technical engineers will also increase in the following years.
It's really interesting into future visions, especially to also touching up on the changing supply chains, which we observed as well a lot in our research with our climbing audiences. Thank you for that, Wilma. Um, Now, Reno, I would love to also hear your thoughts on smarter manufacturing, specifically in regards to the Internet of Things and additive manufacturing. Do you see it changing in the way you work in the electrical motor sector? And what potential effect is it or could it have on your day-to-day life as an engineer?
Well, I think that additive manufacturing could mean a real big deal for electric motor manufacturing in the future. I already stumbled upon some basic research carried out in the US on additive manufacturing of coils, actually additive manufacturing of copper and insulating layers at the same time. Um, Imagine the form freedom that you could have out of these techniques. It would open a lot of doors to higher fill factors and really optimal shapes of windings and distribution to achieve lower losses in your system. And yeah, as an engineer, I think that whenever this will be cost effective compared to traditional techniques, I think at that time it will be a very big challenge as an engineer to have new tools and calculation models to be able to work with this huge design freedom.
Definitely, it's really interesting and really interesting to kind of look at towards the future visions. Thank you for that, Reno. So in a few weeks, we'll all be meeting in Quaimi, Istanbul, where we hope to gain an in-depth global perspective on the pace of the electrical manufacturing industry, whilst offering a Quaimi vision for Istanbul's surrounding regions. To touch upon this, I'd like to invite the panel to offer their thoughts on how their markets view the region as electrical manufacturing producers. So Wilma, if you can provide us with the China and Asian perspective.
Okay. So the Chinese motor control and motor market has matured following over 20 years of fast growth. The slowdown of the economic growth in China has significantly impact on the market for motor and motor control, and also larger extended of such as the product like AC motor drive and motion control market. And in addition, China is at some extent of overcapacity in many manufacturing sectors, such as steel, cement, uh, and shipbuilding. So the inefficiency production will be eliminated or upgraded in the following years. And the weak regional demand in Europe and the US also led to the decrease of exporting in China. Uh, so it also resulted in the lower sales of industrial automation products like motors and motor control in China and also other regions such as Asia countries. Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you. Kerem, how are the Turkish manufacturers positioning themselves globally within the marketplace?
Well, we did spoke about the advantage of Turkey's location.
Hmm.
So transformer manufacturers in this area are becoming more and more important. Most of the Turkish companies has enough experience to manufacture larger power transformers. The only thing they need is a chance, because reference is a very important thing in transformer business, as
Hmm.
in all business, of course. For example, we had this chance and we used it well to manufacture transformers like up to 630 kilovolts, also 600 MVA and more on. Also, we have a very special, very strong special transformer team, which experienced to 30 years and so on. So I think there is a job for a new generation too, because they need to optimize the transformers more, and they need to develop new technologies. Also, they must start to create some new international norms in the transformer businesses. Companies in the Turkey, in the whole world, must come together and start to product with these international norms. So this area must be developed, I think.
Thank you, Kerem. And Renaud, how would you see Europe interacting with these growing markets? Do you see it as it paving the way, collaboration? If I can get your thoughts.
Well, recently China has issued some new incentives to promote hybrid and electric cars, and by consequence, all Chinese car manufacturers, also the smaller ones, they are pushed toward extending their product range to with electric and hybrid cars. And since many of these car manufacturers, especially the smaller ones, have limited experience in these new technologies, and they are seeking professional partnerships with, for instance, European companies to help them develop their hybrid or electric system. And as Punch Powertrain is a company with its customer base in Asia, we are right where we need to be to provide our electric and hybrid solutions. And I believe that really an asset for the European companies to take part in a greener mobility in Asia with their knowledge, and especially because the impact of these higher efficiencies, the reduction of emissions, especially in Asia, has this impact on a global scale, because there are so much possible consumers over there.
Definitely. So we heard a lot about collaboration in terms of paving the way and also building stronger local manufacturing, which has all been really interesting in terms of providing more food for thought towards efficiency. So I'd like to thank all three of you for your valuable contributions and as that concludes our discussion today. I hope that leaves us a lot to take away and think on ahead of Kwame Istanbul, which will be taking place between 18th and 20th of November. All three of the speakers we've just heard from will be there. You can find details on all the speakers and sessions on offer in the link now showing here. Thank you, and that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us, and see you at Kwame event soon. Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.